Hi, this is Laura Lee Griffin.
And this is Nikki May with the Startist Society, inspiring you to stop getting in your own way and start building an art biz and life that you love.
We are artists who believe strongly in the power of community, accountability, following your intuition, taking small, actionable steps, and breaking down the barriers of fear and procrastination that keep you stuck.
Follow along with us on our creative business journey as we encourage you on yours. We've told you all many times that Laura and I met in a peer accountability group for Bonnie Christine's Surface Design Immersion course. Today, and in a few upcoming episodes, we want to introduce you to the other women in our group and tell their inspiring Startist stories. Each of us pretty much had one or two main goals that we hope to accomplish with our creative careers, and we wanted to share what we've all been doing to reach those goals.
Well, we've done a lot of interviews with very experienced artists who have tons of products and licensing deals and courses, and they have a lot to share with us for sure. You know, people like Lisa Glanz, who is a master at selling her digital designs and brushes and tools in digital marketplaces like Design Cuts. But we often feel that they're so far ahead of most of us that we'll just never catch up.
Yeah, so we wanted to share stories from some artists who are not quite as far down that path. They may be more relatable to those of us that are at the Startist stage. So today we're going to begin our accountability group series with Isabelle Wood, graphic designer, digital creator, online educator, and self-proclaimed forever student from Montreal, who is just getting started in putting her work out there to meet her goal. But we'll let her tell you about that.
Isabelle, welcome to the Startist Society. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited and nervous to be here. And I apologize if my voice squeaks. I was really sick last month and I lost my voice completely. And sometimes it still squeaks a little. So hopefully it won't be too bad.
Ooh, I want to hear the squeaky voice.
No, you don't.
Well, Isabelle, we think that you are a great example of a Startist, and we'd love for you to share your Startist story with us.
Well, I'm a forever Startist. Seriously, I think this is one of I've just learned to accept this about myself, is that I suffer from the shiny new object syndrome, and I like to try new things. I hear a new technique or a new medium, and I'm like, ooh, I want to try that, right? Mm-hmm. So I've tried a lot of things, and I change all the time. It has good points and bad points where sometimes I never get as far as I could in one subject or in one matter.
But you've been a graphic designer for quite a while, right?
4 years? No, since 2016.
Okay.
4.
We don't need to do math.
I'm not good at mental math. Sorry. That's for the accountant, right, Laura? That's for the number cruncher.
That's actually more like 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. Thank you. Wow, that's really bad.
So what made you decide to take Bonnie's Immersion course where we met you?
Well, I'm going to go back a bit.
Please.
At the time that I was in high school, you basically had to decide what you were going to do for the rest of your life so that you'd go university after. And I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Like up until my 40s, I still didn't know what I really wanted to do. But everything that I did after high school was always something in the creative field. I got a degree in floristry, flower arrangements,
Cool.
I did a degree in artistic makeup. I didn't work in that, but I did the course.
That's cool. You could go to those, what do they call those conventions? The Comic-Cons and stuff?
Yeah, face makeup and I could have, but what I really would have loved to do, because I love movies, I would have loved to work in movies, because here in Montreal we have a lot of movie studios.
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice.
But the problem with that was it was kind of like a catch-22, because in order to get hired on a movie, the head makeup artist had to kind of know you. Mm-hmm. And in order to know you, you had to go do some volunteer work with them. Well, I had a car, an apartment, and I was living alone. I couldn't just take 3-4 days to go do some volunteer makeup and not, have any revenue come in. So,
well, that was one path that was possible, and you've chosen others. So
Exactly. I then ended up going to work in a warehouse for a medical device company.
Mm-hmm.
Very creative.
Very creative. And then I moved up to customer service. But I mean, there was one good thing is that's where I met my husband. So
Oh, nice.
it wasn't all bad. We ended up getting married. I had kids.
You have 2 teenage boys, correct?
Yeah, they're now teenagers, 16 and 19.
Wow.
I know, right? That makes me feel so old. But in the evenings, I took some night classes in photography. I took some cake decorating classes. I was obviously in the 2000s. Scrapbooking was really, really big. So when the kids were born, I fell into scrapbooking and card making and stamping. I even got certified as a Copic instructor like Laura. And then I ended up teaching myself Illustrator through the beginning of online videos and tutorials. I think I had taken one, Rana Ferrer, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but she's a scrapbooking paper maker.
Okay.
So you have a bit of a crafty background like I do.
Yeah. So I taught myself Illustrator to create some party designs and party decorations for the kids. And then I ended up making my mom's second wedding invitation and my sister's wedding invitation. And I realized that I really enjoyed working in Illustrator. And at 40, I decided to go back to school to become a graphic designer.
Nice.
So I did that. And then I fell in love with creating fonts. And it's just, I'm really bad at hand lettering, but I just really love the idea of making fonts. And I buy all the fonts. And I have way too many fonts. I'm sure both of you also do.
There are no designers that don't have too many fonts. And
Right?
I bet you're probably like me and you still use the same 4 or 5 every time.
Yeah, something like that. So at the end of the graphic designer course, I decided that I wanted to create fonts and graphics and assets to sell. I was a huge customer of Creative Market at the time. And so the way that their application worked at the time, and this was back in 2017, is you sent them a link to your portfolio or your social media. And so all I really had at the time was my Instagram. And I mean, it was okay. It really wasn't that great. So I got turned down. And I started working as a graphic designer full time for a company. And that whole idea of creating fonts and graphics and assets just kind of fell to the wayside. And I kind of just left it there. And I was working as a graphic designer for a few years. And 2019, I decided to go freelance because I realized I did not like having a boss breathing down my neck.
Amen, sister.
Right.
And so I decided to go freelance, and I wasn't actively out there looking for clients because, I mean, I know a lot of people need the money, but my husband has a really good job. So I was a stay-at-home mom before. So that income was just like a little bonus, a little extra for myself. And so I wasn't actively looking for clients. I just had a few people, word of mouth, come to me. And so I took those clients, and I had some time left over. And I realized that through working for the graphic design company, the agencies and stuff, I realized that I like creating repeat patterns. And I had taught myself how to create repeat patterns and stuff. So I decided in 2020 to take Bonnie Christine's course, and that's where I met you guys. And for me, that was actually the best part of the course. And I know that's not the same for everybody. Some people get a lot out of it.
Yep.
But because I knew Illustrator so well, for me, I felt like I wanted more of the business aspect of the surface pattern design industry, and I didn't get that. But for somebody that doesn't know Illustrator, she really goes in from the beginning. It's a really good course to learn Illustrator and how to create pattern.
Yeah, I felt the same way since I've been working in Illustrator forever.
Right.
And I had taken a few classes about learning how to do repeat patterns. I did learn quite a few little extra tips and details, But really, truly, the best part for me, too, was this group that we all met in.
And I was different than you guys because I didn't know Illustrator when I came in. I knew a little bit on Photoshop, but not Illustrator. So I learned quite a bit from that process. But again, the very best part of it was the accountability group. And I will say I've been in so many accountability groups in other courses where it didn't necessarily gel.
Yeah, they fall apart so quickly usually.
I mean, it's been now 2 years, and there was something about the magic that came together with this group. So I just want to reiterate to our listeners how don't give up.
It's been longer than 2 years, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. 2023 now. Yeah.
It was in May 2020, wasn't it, that we took it?
I can't remember.
2.5 years. Close enough.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, Isabelle, we wanted to focus on some of the goals that we had, both in the course and just what we've talked about in our accountability group. So I know that you had at least 1 or 2 big goals that you've been working on. Do you want to tell us about some of that?
Yeah. So I like sharing my knowledge when I know how to do something. And somebody doesn't know how to do it. I really enjoy teaching that person how to do things. So I figured that a good way to get passive income would be to create some online classes. So I had a goal to create some Skillshare classes. And in 2021, I put out 2 classes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Because weren't you, pretty intimidated by that at first?
Oh my God, yes.
Maybe a little paralyzed?
The first one took me a really long time to create. It took me more than the period. The Skillshare has a challenge period where it's like 3 months to create a class and you get help from people. And I didn't manage to finish it in that time. So it actually took me like 7-8 months to actually finish my first class.
But you did it.
I did, but yeah, I had some personal issues at home where I kind of needed more of my attention, so that kind of like had to be put on the side for a bit. My first class is doing really well. The second class is not doing as well as I was hoping, but it doesn't mean that it's not gonna. It's like little by little. It's still there, and it's still increasing the number of students. Little bit. So it's not a complete flop. So I'm okay with that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this process. So, you had a goal that said, man, I love Skillshare. I would love to be on Skillshare, but I don't even know how to video things. I don't know how to do all this stuff. And you had a goal and you said it may have taken 7 or 8 months to get that first class done, but you actually got it done.
I got it done. And I learned Premiere Pro. Because I knew nothing about Premiere Pro when I started. So I learned Premiere Pro. I learned how to edit videos. I learned how to create the class outline. And I learned a lot creating that. So it's good.
Now, you, I think, were part of a program that you had some coaching. Is that correct? That Skillshare offers?
I did. I was lucky enough. They reached out to me because I've been on Skillshare as a client, I think, since before the format where it's like you pay once and you have access to everything. You have to buy the classes individually. So I've been a customer for a really long time. Long time. And I don't think that had anything to do with it. But once in a while, I always got emails saying, would you like to teach a class? And I finally responded, yes, I would, to one of these. And it was during the Teach Challenge. And I think you had to apply.
Yeah, I think you did for the coaching because I did the same thing. And I think I may have done it one season in front of you, like maybe one season in front. But yeah, you would get a coach assigned to you, right?
Yeah, I got a coach and she was really nice and really helpful. And she went over everything. She listened to the videos and, gave me tips of like some things I needed to refilm. So it was long because I had to redo some of the things. And then my husband, when I told him I was creating a second class, he's like, are you serious? You were so stressed when you made that first class. Are you serious? You seriously want to make a second one?
But it took you maybe 7 months to do the first one. How long did it take you to do the second one?
Oh my God. The second one I had in my mind, it was a Christmas themed class. So I had to get it out by November 1st.
And you started when?
I decided this in end of August, early September. So I got it done in like a couple months. So yeah, which it was, I don't know if it's not doing as well because it's a little bit rushed or if it's because it is Christmas themed and
people aren't thinking about Christmas the whole year.
Well, no, but the subject of the class, you can apply it to other seasons. It's not necessarily, it was just happened to be at Christmas. And so I filmed it with my Christmas tree in the back, just.
So we're talking about these classes you created, but we haven't actually said what they are. So tell us a little bit about them.
The first class is how to use Procreate to create stickers.
Awesome.
And I show 2 ways to then make your stickers either at home using scissors or a cutting machine with like a sticker paper that you buy at the store or online, or getting it outsourced to print-on-demand companies that will do stickers.
Nice.
So I talked about both in that class. And then the second class was how...
And wait, can I just interrupt and say that I took your first class and it was super fun because you have these little summer treats that you make, like little popsicles and ice cream and like stuff like that.
Oh, now I want ice cream with bourbon, naturally.
Ooh, that's good.
Of course you do, Nikki. I thought it was really fun and I enjoyed taking it. So
thank you. I took your first Copic class with the flowers. Yeah, that was great because I hadn't colored with my Copic markers in so long. And it was really great to take them out and actually use them and do something with it. It was a good class. And I learned stuff. I think you were more advanced in Copic than I was because you did some techniques that I didn't know. So that was really, really great.
Cool.
So the second class was how to create gift tags on Procreate. And I was giving away some Procreate brushes that I actually created. So I learned how to make Procreate brushes for that class, where they're just like stamped brushes, but it's stamped images of like the tag shape. And there was like 3 different shapes or 2 different shapes.
Cool.
And so it's like gift tags. You can make them for Christmas. You can make them for birthdays, hostess gift, whatever. But because it's Christmas themed in the tags and the background and when I'm filming, I think maybe people are just a little thrown off by it. Or then again, I'm really bad at social media marketing. So that could also be a huge problem because of why it's not working that well, you know?
I think we all have challenges in that area for sure.
Yes.
But I think having something that's Christmas themed can be perfect for that season, or even maybe in July. You could push it for the whole Christmas and July thing.
Oh, yeah.
So there could be some different opportunities. But I think in essence, it's all a learning experience. So here you had this goal and you had a lot of things thrown at you. You mentioned personally, there were some challenges that you were having when you were trying to do that first class. And you still said, you know what? I'm going to get this thing done, and you were able to get past those challenges and make it happen. And so I think that's awesome. And
aside from accomplishing the goal of doing the courses, you learned a whole bunch of new skills, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, I'm what did I say I was? A perpetual, forever student. Yeah. That's, so. Which is true. I'm always looking to learn new things, looking at tutorials on anything, like cookie decorating and cake decorating.
So I know that you had another specific goal that you were working on. And what was that one?
The fonts and assets.
Yeah, you had the goal of creating digital products to sell on marketplaces like Design Cuts.
Yep, Design Cuts. I kind of let go of the creative market for 2 reasons. They changed their platform where it's like a membership and you have access to everything. You could still buy individually, but I kind of didn't like that. And, they shunned me once. So
so screw you, creative market. No, not really. I don't mean that. We love you, creative market.
I still love creative market, but
they've gotten plenty of my money.
Oh, me too. Me too. So last year, talking with you guys, I realized that I had that goal of creating fonts and digital assets, and I was turned down and I put it to the side and I never went back to that.
Yeah.
So I told myself, you know what, in 2022, that's going to be one of my goals. I want to create fonts and some digital assets. So that's what I really worked towards in 2022. And 2021 was the Skillshare class. 2022 was the digital assets and fonts. And I decided to go with, I don't have a shop on my website because it's long to create and I haven't done it yet. But I really love the Design Cuts platform because they really do they built a community and they're really axed towards helping their clients. They give free trainings, free learning, and weekly tutorials, and they're like just really great. So I'm like, you know what? I really like them. This is the platform I want to be on. So they have something that's really great. If you go in the learn section of their website, they have the Digital Product Academy. Ooh. Which is good for anybody. You don't have to sell on their platform to take it. So it's basically 9 lessons on how to create digital assets from start to finish so that they are cohesive and branded nicely, and they look nice, and so that it's like you have a better chance of getting accepted. So I did all that. I joined the community, and Matt, who's the I want to say creative director, but I'm not 100% sure. He's on there, and I had some questions that I'm like, oh, he's going to be too busy to answer me. But I still tagged him and asked the question at large, and I tagged him ? And he answered, and he even told me, he goes, do you want to send me, because I had a question about like the images for the display images, like what do I send to get accepted? Because they are a curated platform. They do approve the sellers. It's not just like anybody can open an account to sell. So you do need to be approved by them, and you need to apply. So I was wondering, like, what do I send? And he's like, well, why don't you send me a PDF with your images, and I'll tell you if it's okay or not. And I'm like, oh my God, you do that?
That's amazing.
That is amazing. Right? So, yeah, and he had some great feedback, and I took it all and I changed what needed to be changed. And then I applied, and then I got approved right away, which was fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's go back and start after you did the, what is it called? Digital Asset Academy?
Yeah, they're like step-by-step guide to.
Yeah. We'll link to that in the show notes. But let's talk about how you started the process. How did you decide what products to create, and like, where did you even start?
Well, I always struggle with making these kinds of decisions. I had taken one of Lisa Glanz's Skillshare classes about creating digital drawings with texture. And I had drawn these planets and a spaceship. And I'm like, oh, these would be like really cute graphics, So I said, I'm going to reuse old stuff that I've already started and reuse them to make something now. So I had done those illustrations like, I don't know, 2019, 2018, I think.
But it was a good starting point for this.
It was a good starting point. I ended up redrawing them like multiple times. But I had a starting point, and I added more illustrations to really make it. I wanted to offer a lot of value, because if you go on Design Cuts, you'll notice that a lot of people, like the graphics kit, they have a lot in them. Like they offer a lot. And that's one of the Design Cuts values, is that you need to give value to your customers. So the more is better, right?
And did you use what you learned in Lisa's class and add some texture to them?
I actually did not add texture. I did it in Procreate, but I did it like clean lines and everything. I don't know why I decided to do that. Vectorizing the texture is long. It's a hassle, and it's long, and it takes up, like, my computer was so slow. It was just crazy. So I think I went like the easy route for that, just to make sure that everything was going to be working properly on my computer side and everything.
So you had sort of this space-themed group of images that you had drawn and created, and then you wanted to turn those into a digital product. So how do you decide, and maybe this Digital Academy helps to decide, but how do you know what format you want to sell them in? So you mentioned vector. You vectorize them. Do you have them in PNG format? Do you have them as a JPEG? Like, how do you offer them?
Yeah, what's all included in these packs?
Oh, my God. I struggled so much. That was one of the things where I really struggled, because I want to cater to everybody. I want everybody to be happy.
Do they not make recommendations?
No, on that, I don't think that was part of...
Interesting.
I don't remember. I don't think it was, but... And I went in the community, and I did ask questions like, when you guys buy digital assets, what do you prefer? Do you prefer AI files, PNGs? Do you Photoshop? Like, what do you prefer working with? And I think it all boils down to who buys your products.
Right.
If it's just like an at-home mom who wants to put something together and who's not proficient on Illustrator or Photoshop, and she just wants the PNGs with no background, right?
Right.
With transparent background. So I ended up offering vector format, JPEG, PNGs, and I believe EPS, which is also vector format. But I didn't do Photoshop format, because I was like, that's a whole other thing. Although exporting it from Procreate, I could have just exported it as a Photoshop.
Right.
So I mean, that would have been easy to do too. But I decided to create a font to add value. So having a font with the set.
Yeah.
And I called that font a Space Cadet because I wanted it to be themed.
That's cute.
Yeah. Super cute.
It was cute. And it's like a very simple hand-drawn font. Not childlike, but almost. Like originally I had called it elementary for like elementary school because I had been working on it for a bit before.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of fonts that are started from the many years, and they're just sitting in a sketchbook or in my Procreate files.
So let me ask you about that, about the font creation. So people who want to get started in font creation, is there a specific kind of software or app you can use that helps you along the way to make it easy?
So I use the program FontSelf, which is an extension for Illustrator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it helps create the font. They actually just came out with a version for your iPad, which is very simplified. But the Illustrator version, you can do a lot more and a lot more tweaking to each glyph. And so I took Tila Cunningham's How to Make a Font course.
On Skillshare?
No. This one is a paid course on her platform.
Okay.
She does have, what Tila does is really, really, really smart. She puts like a little piece of her big course on Skillshare. And then if you want to have more, because she really works the way her courses are made, they're worked by project. And she'll usually have 4 or more projects in the course. So she'll put one project as a course on Skillshare, and then she'll promote the course to go.
That's clever. That's actually a really good use of Skillshare.
It is very clever. So I actually took the full course, and I think this was back in 2018, 2017, when she first put it out. I was in the first cohort. And is that a word, cohort?
It is. And you used it correctly.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if it was French, English, Okay, so I was I believe I was in the first cohort of her course. And of course, I took the course, I watched it, and I never put out a font. And I never, I don't know if it was fear or if it was just, I'll do it later. I don't remember why I didn't.
Fear and procrastination.
That's right.
I hate those guys.
I know. Like sit on your shoulder,
Yeah.
But her course was really, really great, like from start to finish on letter form and how to create a font. So I had that knowledge.
Yeah, you may not have released a font, but that knowledge did not go to waste.
It did not. And I ended up using it many years down the line. And so when I actually released that product, the Space Adventure graphics kit that had the Space Cadet font, I released the Space Cadet font separately. And I'm like, maybe not everybody wants to buy the graphics and they just want the font, right? Well, it turns out I sold 0 of the big kit. And I've sold like 4 or 5 fonts.
Well, then that was a very clever thing to do, huh?
Right? So,
well, let me ask you about putting together the kit to sell. We know what file formats, but don't you also include like some example projects of how you use it and some instructions for things?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Like, what do you actually show for that? Is it just screenshots or?
Well, you always have to create some really pretty ways to sell the graphics. So like how you're going to use it. So I've created all these things for the presentation images, for the product display. Like when you go on the product, what is that called?
Page.
Page. Thank you. Oh my God.
That's okay. You're old. I can say that because I'm older than you.
That's true. So if you go on the product page and you click on, you have all the images that I've created. So I think that was also a very time consuming because you don't want to just have 1 or 2 images. You really want to show, multiple possibilities of how to use your products in order to be able to reach the most different types of people or end users that you can, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I created mock-ups. I created like party invitations. It's
super cute.
It is.
Thank you.
It is.
I don't know why nobody wants to buy it.
Well, let me ask you, does Does Design Cuts in any of their academy or their community, do they talk about how to help you get found on their platform? Because I don't know much about Design Cuts, but for example, with Etsy, there's so much to know about Etsy SEO. So I imagine it's the same with Design Cuts, like how, maybe it's descriptions and keywords that you could change to help you get found.
No, they did. I don't think they really.
Well, if anybody has that information and they design for Design Cuts, please let us know. No, I think that is a good point, Nikki, that sometimes there are other things that we have to learn, and especially around the marketing, because, marketing is icky to a lot of us. Like
marketing, Isabelle.
What's that?
It's so hard. It's so hard. But I think the other thing is maybe leveraging groups you're in, leveraging, of course, social media. And one of the things I think that was cool when you talk about creating these product pages with all of the samples and things, I know you had reached out to me on a new product that you were working on, which I don't think has been released yet.
No, it hasn't, because the suggestion that you made were fantastic. So what I did was I went on the community and I asked if anybody would like to be testing new Procreate brushes that I was creating that I wanted to sell.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, that's another way to use the community. So I had like 3 people reach out, and then I reached out to Laura also because I know that, she's a huge Procreate brush buyer.
Brush hoarder.
Right?
Are you talking about me?
Yes. I could be talking about me.
I almost said brush whore, but.
Of course you did.
I do love me some Procreate brushes.
Yes, I do too. And I don't always use them, but I buy every single one of Lisa Glanz's brushes.
So do I.
But I don't always end up using them, but I idolize her. I love her.
Oh, you showed me one last week. It was like the cute animal creator one. And that was like one I hadn't bought yet. And I went out there and looked at it and I went, oh, yep. Purchase, put it right in the cart, bought that sucker.
Yeah, it's so fun to use, and it's great.
Okay, stop fangirling over Lisa Glanz. I mean, she's amazing. We had so much fun interviewing her.
I'm so jealous.
But let's get back to, you asked people in the community to try your brushes. How did that go?
Do you want the honest truth?
No, we're all about lies here.
So I had asked people, I said, I will give you the brush set. I would like you to try them and give me your honest feedback and to create products and to give me the right that if you create something that I like, that I could use it in the examples, but I would credit the person, no problem,
Seems reasonable.
Seems reasonable. Okay. So I ended up sending 3 people the brushes apart from Laura, and only one person gave me feedback.
Right.
The other 2 never even replied to my email, which...
Yeah, that's disappointing.
They got a free brush set out of it,
I hate to say it, but I think that's pretty typical.
Yeah, probably. So then I needed more feedback. So I reached out to Laura and I'm like, would you? And I think you were in the middle of moving, or I don't know. You were super busy, but you took an evening, and I mean, you gave me so much feedback. It was absolutely amazing. But that brush set was creating gift tags. It was a gift tag brush set, but with all the illustrations that you could put on the gift tags and some sayings like Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's all the bits and pieces you would need, but as a brush rather than as a graphic. Interesting.
Yeah. And it's just basically stamping the images, and then you can color it in. And
yeah, and I actually used it in a different way because I'm a card maker, which is my thing. So I was able to take some of those images and blow them up, and I can't wait to show people whenever this comes out. We're throwing that out there, Isabelle, into the world.
It will.
Ooh, there was that squeak we heard about.
I know, right?
So I'm really excited for that to come out. But it was really fun to play with. And so just this whole concept and this idea and the accessibility now that you can take things on your iPad that you create while sitting in front of the TV and turn these into products that you can sell. And the fact that you can get them sold on a platform like Design Cuts, which in my opinion is the best platform out there. Like, I love Design Cuts. So kudos to you for going through the process and figuring it all out and actually getting approved. And so I guess my question is, what are the next product? I know that product, but what other things do you want to be working on or do you want to release?
Well, following your advice, I ended up redrawing everything in a bigger format so that people could use it on a card, because I'm also a card maker and I don't know why I didn't think of it before, because it's not as confining as, well, you got to use it small, right?
Right.
Give more options. So I ended up redrawing. So, and then I decided maybe I'm going to make it like a set of like all the holidays, like Valentine's, Halloween. So I need to get around to doing all of the other things other than Christmas. So
right.
It might take a while.
That sounds like a good idea, because then you could either sell the pack of all holidays and you could sell the individual ones.
Well, that was originally I wanted to break it down and sell it like seasonal packs.
Yeah.
But you're saying I should sell it like a big bundle and then all individual.
No, you could do both.
Do both. So,
you could do
know,
both.
the same way you did your space one with the font and then you did the font separately. Do one pack of all the holidays that's a higher price point and the individual ones at a lower price point.
You're so smart, Nikki.
Hey, that's why they pay me the
$0. So I have, this is that Procreate brush set is actually going to take a while to get out there, but I have a font that's ready to go. I actually made a plan for 2023.
Ooh, a plan.
I always plan at the beginning of January. And then come February, I don't remember what I planned for the year. So.
Making plans is a lot easier than sticking to them.
Isabelle, you're better than I am, because if you plan on January 1, I pretty much forgot it by January 3rd.
Hey, I've decided this year the new year starts on the first day of spring.
Oh.
Because
when is that?
March 20th.
Okay.
That's my new year.
You know, it's still winter up here in March.
Well,
we still have snow. It's horrible. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It gets cold up here. Do you want to know my plan for 2023?
Yeah.
I found a new hobby in September.
Of course you did. And you took some classes for it.
No.
No?
I just watched a lot of tutorials online. Instagram Reels and YouTube stories. I found modern hand embroidery. And I completely fell in love with it. I was on Instagram and this feed popped up, and she had these little stickers that she stuck on a sweatshirt, and she embroidered this little bear. It was like the cutest thing. And then she wet it and that sticker just disappeared. And I was like, oh my God.
I have to do that now.
I need me some of that. Where can I get that? And so I Google, and like within 2 weeks, I had over 100 colors of floss.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. But I think what I miss, as much as I love drawing on Procreate, I think what I missed was holding something tangible.
Yeah.
And doing something with my hands. I hadn't done that in years, and it felt so good. And I just really love that I can use my illustrations that have just been piling up in my iPad, and I can put them on a piece of fabric and embroider them. Like, it's great.
So do you buy that sticker paper and print your images on it?
Well, I bought some of that sticker paper, and I also tried the traditional way, which is to trace your image with a pen that
washes out.
Or actually now they have some that if you use the friction pen, you know, it's like with the little eraser.
Yep. It's heat activated, isn't it?
It's heat activated. So you take your hair dryer and you just go over it and it disappears. It's like magic.
It's great for embroidery, and it's really bad if you like leave your journal or something in a hot car. Because I think
oh my God. Yeah.
Nice.
That would do it.
Nice.
So I've been really struggling. Usually when I find something new, I'm like, oh, I want to sell this. Right away, I want to jump on it.
Yeah.
And then it just fizzles out, right? So I told myself, no, wait till the new year and then see if you still love it.
Okay.
And if you want to, so I want to take some of my designs. I have got 2 plans, like parallel plans for the year. I'm going to take some of my designs, create stick and stitch, that's what they're called, designs, and sell them by packs of 10 to 12. That's standard out there. I've done some research on Etsy.
Okay.
And so I want to start with that. And maybe down the line, I would love to create embroidery kits. But then the shipping from Canada with Canada Post is so expensive. So I was thinking maybe wholesale. But I don't know, because that just requires a lot of brain function and a lot of work. And I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But I definitely, I'm planning for the end of the second quarter. So like early summer, uploading in my Etsy shop, revamping my Etsy shop, and then uploading stick and stitch packs.
Cool.
I'm gonna start with that, and I'm gonna try to do it slowly. And then the first 2 quarters of the year are going to be for design cuts, and I have a font that's ready to go. I just need to finish just tweaking one little thing, and then I can upload it to the platform to get approved, because they actually also, you can't just like upload it and it's live in your shop right away on design cuts. You upload it, they review the product, make sure that everything works and everything is up to snuff, or up to par, and then it's released. And then the first 2 weeks that a product is released on Design Cut, it's automatically on sale, which is the best time to buy it when you're the buyer.
Yeah. And I know there's also like a discount. So when people on Design Cuts, if you want to buy a product, and that's how I get sucked in personally.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Like if you go in and buy one product, you pay like full price. If you add a second product, you get like 10 or 15% off. And then if you add like 5 or 6 products, you get like up to 50% off or something ridiculous.
They change it, and it's no longer up to 5 products, up to 3 products.
Okay.
Yeah. But still, it's really good. I think it's like 30% off with 3 products or something like that. Or
yeah, so that's still like a really great deal. Yeah. But then I guess you would sell more, and maybe even SEO, you're like higher up, like a new product might be higher up to be found. And then you get some percentage of the total, I'm assuming, with Design Cuts.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I haven't looked at my contract in a bit, but I believe it's 50% of the sale price goes to the artist, which is actually really good.
Yeah, that's pretty generous.
That is very, very good.
Like, because if you think about royalties and things like that, getting a 50% royalty would be amazing. Exactly. Because they're bringing people in a marketplace, they're bringing a lot of those people to you. That's one of the things I like about Skillshare, I will say, is that, people find your class, whereas you still should market it yourself. But the fact that people can find you on a marketplace, I think is really great for when you're just getting started. So you don't have to have all that figured out yourself. Yeah. So those are my plans right now, is possibly embroidery, stick and stitch, end of the second half of 2023. But the first half, I want to focus on fonts. I've got a font ready to go. I have another one that's halfway done. And then I've got that Procreate brush set that I need to get on it and finish it. And really, you could use a lot of the same images, right? Yeah. And you know what I did for this font that's going to be released? It's called Skinny Jeans. And it's actually like, I find it just like really cute and fun. I used Canva, and it took me one evening, and I had like 8 images done, and it was fantastic. Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. Because they have like mini mock-ups now too on Canva. Oh, wow. So like just to put like, like a baby t-shirt, and I just put like, found a little graphics in their things, and then like a little ship's wheel, and I put, ahoy matey, and I wrote ahoy matey. It was like really cute. Yeah, cute. But it took me 5 minutes. Yeah. Which if I had to search for a mock-up, buy the mock-up, right, import it in Photoshop, and then like work it. And I was like, it would have taken me much longer. So I actually ended up I do have a paid membership to Canva. Yeah, I was going to ask that next. But they have a lot of free assets too. I only got the paid one because I had to do something for a client, which I needed some extra stuff. Well, I used the paid version because they had some really cool like ebook formats and things that I could use for my Skillshare class. So when you need to have little spacers in between the videos, where you pop stuff up on the screen, I found that Canva worked really well for that. And they already have, you just change the colors and stuff, but they have some of the design already put together. And this episode is not sponsored by Canva. But Canva, if you would like to contact us. I did the same thing for my Skillshare class. I used Canva to create all the bookends of the videos. Yeah.
Like just that static image. And it was fantastic.
Yeah, it works great for that. I love it for that.
Do we have an affiliate link for Canva?
I don't know, but we should get one.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Do they have that? Do they even have that?
I don't know, but I'm going to look into that. So Isabelle, you're a graphic designer. You work with clients. You're a mom to 2 teenage boys. And you're doing embroidery, digital products, fonts, 87 other things that has to keep you crazy busy. How do you juggle it all and still manage to feed those hungry boys?
And see, I find myself very lazy because I know there are people out there that do so much more. But I don't have the mental capacity for that because I just get exhausted.
But you are still doing a lot of things. At least it looks like it from our point of view.
Well, I guess so. But I also have many days where I feel like I look busy, but I feel like I got nothing done.
Oh, well, that's a whole entire episode on its own.
Is it right?
Yeah.
So, but thank you. I'm glad people think I get a lot done.
Nice.
I know. My 18-year-old the other day said, "Well, you just sit at your desk and do your little drawings," and I'm like, I don't just do little drawings. That's not what I do.
I do big drawings too.
Right. I said, I actually work for customers that pay money.
People don't understand those of us who work at home in a room by ourselves.
Yeah.
Or in a bus by themselves.
Well, it's like this morning. I don't know if I should tell you guys this.
You should. Absolutely.
So I did some market research and I bought an embroidery kit during Christmas, but there was some duty fees that I had to pay.
Okay.
So this morning I'm working and I'm co-working with Jennifer, which you guys will interview her at some point. Mm-hmm. And I was on the doorbell ring. So I'm like, just a second. So I run downstairs, but I'm in my one-piece pajamas. And I answer the door and it's the mail person. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm still in my pajamas. She's like, it must be nice to me. I said, I'm working from home, but I'm in my, she goes, that must be so nice to be able to work in your pajamas. So, yeah.
I mean, it really is.
It is. Yeah, it's nice. I only get dressed when I have to. Or when I do get dressed, it's like, leggings and a t-shirt. It feels like a pajamas, basically,
Well, I work from home, but I'm in meetings pretty much all day from like 8 o'clock in the morning till sometimes 6 or 7 o'clock at night, sometimes even later. And I mean, if I took a shower that day, that's a good day. I mean,
right.
The other day, somebody said, "Oh, your hair looks so nice." And I was like, yeah, because I took a shower today and washed it.
Oh, I get that too. What did you do to your hair? It looks so good. What did you do? I washed it.
It was my weekly shower,
But Laura, I bet you at least put real clothes on the top half.
At the top half, yeah. Business up top and pajamas on the bottom.
I do. But then you have to remember, if you did leave your pajama bottoms on, you can't stand up because as soon as you stand up, it's like very obvious. You just have those moments where you're like, oh, man. And I've done it before where I've worn a nightgown and then I put like a jacket over it.
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious.
and people don't know it's like my nightgown. And so
must have been a pretty nightgown.
I mean, honestly, if you have to get on a 7 a.m. call, I am not a morning person, so it's just not going to happen. Okay, we digress.
All right, ladies, let's get back on track here. What were we talking about? Design, drawing, selling things.
My plan for 2023.
Your plan for 2023. I think it sounds good.
And I think that's all I got for you guys. I don't know. Is that?
Well, here's what I would like to ask you is for somebody who's just getting started and they want to create a digital product for design cuts, for example, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give them?
Do that Product Academy. First and foremost, go check out the Product Academy. Even if you're planning on selling on another platform, just, create an account, go in the Learn section and really do that Product Academy because they give so much information and it's like really interesting. and you can apply it to any kind of digital asset that you want to sell, or actually any other thing too you want to sell, like for parts of it, like the branding and like other parts of it also, like how to market it and stuff. They do cover that a little bit, but
I want to take that class now.
Yeah, I want to take it too.
I'm surprised you haven't.
Well, we only haven't taken it because we didn't know it exists.
Exactly.
Oh.
We would have.
Yeah, so I think that would be the first thing. Like,
I think it's great advice.
Awesome. All right, Isabelle, tell all our listeners, where are all the places they can connect with you, buy from you, learn from you?
Okay. Skillshare, you can find me under Isabelle Wood Art, or just type in Isabelle Wood. Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, which I do have a YouTube. Eventually, I'm planning on putting some little like tutorials and stuff, but I just have to set myself up, and it takes a while.
That's a 2024 goal.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, great. Yes, that's a good idea.
Yes.
2024 YouTube videos. There you go. All my social handles are all the same. It's isabellewood.art. And my website, isabellewood.com or .ca. I have both.
Nice.
And the Etsy shop is Isabelle Wood Art, but right now it's on vacation until I decide what to do with it. It's on hold.
Well, Isabelle, we have had so much fun talking with you, as always. And we thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
To learn more about Isabelle and read today's Startist Society show notes, go to startistsociety.com/Isabelle Wood.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, we'd love for you to share it with a friend. Sharing helps us reach more Startists like you and keeps us inspired to create new episodes.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.